Okay, so it's Christmas Eve. I just got done a 2-day bender. And I almost dropped the ball. I was being manipulated by the AI in our brains, by the evil spirits in our brains, to get more dope so that I could please those evil spirits. Because they had a plan to kill me tonight. And all mankind by getting me to climax. See, I wasn't 100% sure if I was the mechanism. And I'm still not sure. Because this could all be smoke and mirrors. Because the main boss, or the guy at the top of the food chain, doesn't like me sleeping with his girlfriend. So, what do? Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't take the chance. I've been looking for an exit strategy anyways. I think this is the one. So, quiet, Louie. You hear that bark? He's letting you know. Bark. The 1 and the 3, or if you push those together, you get a B. And then the A and the arc, the A and the RK, that's like an arc. It means I'm the arc here, guys. Arc of what? I got all the spirits inside of me. I got everything I need inside of me. Because I'm the 13th dimension. If you watch my previous videos, I said there was 12, I think. 11, 12. That's no, there was 13, because there's 13 ghosts. But there's actually 14. 14 dimensions. And that dumbass computer, and our brains, is only on the 10th dimension. Anyhow, back to my story. So, if you watch my other videos, you'll see that I had toys that I was using. I don't know if I got those toys. So, anyhow, I want to show you Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So, this here is an aid that I use. So, it was bigger than this. So there was the top piece of this. It's just it was rounded, and there's like a little hole in it. And I would hold that rounded part like that, and I would just go like that on the head, and it really gave a great sensation, and it made me get erect. So I got up to go do something downstairs, and when I came back into the bedroom here to continue playing with my toy with the spirits, the toy was gone. It wasn't on the bed anymore. I tore up the whole room upside down, moved it around. I even went downstairs over here because I thought I might have went rolling down there. It disappeared from the room, from the house. But it didn't really, because the AI, artificial intelligence, made a special trip to come down here and de-atomize that toy and get rid of it so that I couldn't use it to have an orgasm while I'm erect, because that's me. Normally, when I'm on the crystal meth, I don't orgasm erect. I orgasm like soft or half erect, which is a representation of the female side of creation. So it was my intention to orgasm while erect, because that's my element. That's fire. Because fire wood. If you chop down some fire, you get wood. Firewood. Morning wood is called morning erection. Sometimes people get that, right? So morning wood, firewood, tells me that I'm supposed to climax while erect so that I can send electricity down my spine and hurt the bad guys. But these guys, they had a different plan. They came down here in a UFO, they de-atomized my toy so that it threw a wrench in my plan. So I was very cautious after I couldn't find my toy. And that was your downfall, AI. Had you left the toy, I probably would have climaxed with the toy, and then you might have got your black hole. But you're not going to get it now, are you? So, with that being said, I go over here. So, right here. So, before I talked about this before, Madman, drummers, bummers, engines in the summer with a teenage diplomat. So, that's a representation of you, Leia, being the teenage diplomat. Because you're like a backup, you're a backup creator in the event that, Jaden shoots me down, or if I'm unable to find the de-atomized Sherry creator or the de-atomized Jaden creator, and if they're the creators, we'd have to sit down and have like a powwow. So this here is a representation of a powwow. So Madman, I'm mad because I don't know who my wife is. I theorized that the bad guys got rid of her. They came down here, abducted her, and de-atomized her. Now she's stuck in a dream somewhere. And I don't know if it's Sherry or if it's Jaden, but I'm leaning more towards Sherry now, because if there's any truth to what I'm about to tell you, and me being the reason why the black hole is created, that means it has nothing to do with her getting pregnant. But I don't buy that either, because she's the mother of all creation. If she becomes pregnant, well, impure, something bad is going to happen. So that's just evil trying to manipulate me into dragging my feet so that I won't try to get a hold of her ASAP. But anyways, it's just a precaution, because I can't take that risk if she's the creator. But if Sherry was the creator, then Jaden would not be the creator, and she could proceed with, having her child. Because I don't want to be responsible for telling her to, abort or, not get pregnant. So you're just going to have to wait a little bit. But I don't know how she's going to act, because I don't know if she's really who she says she is. So, this here is a representation of a powwow. So I'm mad when you go to the powwow. They play drums, and you got bummers. Just means everyone being bummed out, right? Because I don't know the truth, ladies. I assume it's Jaden, but it could be Sherry, man. So, and I've fallen in love with Jaden's spirit, and I've fallen in love with the thought of being in love with her. And I've developed feelings for you too, Leia. So really tough find you. So there's a lot to this story. You guys will have to stay tuned to my YouTube show, unless the guys from Rogers releases the so-called videotape that I theorize that they're recording by monitoring my phone. It'd be faster than me writing the book. I can just tell the story. So, I mean, I'm mad, and the powwow. So if there's a powwow, it just means that we're all getting together and we're trying to figure out who my spouse is. Reincarnate soulmate. So, Hello. So now, the Indians is a representation of the powwow, right? And Leia, you're the teenage diplomat. However, it could also be Sherry because I have to be mindful of my words here, so I can't go any further than that. But it's either you or Sherry as a representation. So I'm just going to say that. So let's say here, so you see this? I with a boulder on my shoulder, feeling kind of older, I tripped the merry-go-round. So a merry-go-round kind of has like a thing on top. Oops. Yeah, you see up here? So that looks like a UFO. So that's what that actually means over here. With a boulder on my shoulder means with the element earth on my shoulder, feeling kind of older because I'm close to dying, right? Because of the amount of sitting that I've done for the past 2 days. It's taking a toll on me. So anyhow, plug this phone in. So I tripped the merry-go-round means it basically means I was at this I'm at this particular junction where these clowns come around here. They disrupt my ceremonies by stealing my sexual aid. So I can't use the tip of the toy no more. They came here and they stole it on me by de-atomizing it. And it's not the first time I've seen something like that happen. One time I walked out of the bedroom here, but into the kitchen, and then came back into the bedroom, and then a picture of my dad magically teleported from downstairs up onto the floor here. And I don't know how the hell that happened, but it wasn't on the floor when me and Sherry walked out, but when we walked back in, it was on the floor. And we were both perplexed as to how the hell that thing made it from downstairs to upstairs. It was a UFO and their teleportation technology. Just like they came here and teleported the toy out because they have a plan. And I'm about to tell you what their plan is. So, with the element earth on my shoulder, feeling kind of older from the spiritual warfare, I tripped the UFO. So they jumped in the UFO and they came down here. With this very unpleasing sneezing and wheezing, the calliope crashed to the ground. So the calliope crash to the ground is a representation of the UFO coming to Earth and hovering over the house here to focus on the upper half of this toy. If you go into back to my other videos, you'll see me describing it. There's one with DVDs there, adult DVDs plus a DVD player. And my toys. If you go look for that video, you'll see what the top of the toy looks like. So, but she was blinded by the light. That's not the only one. So, some silicone sister with a manager mister told me I got what it takes. So I was as I'm working with the spirits and I'm watching these videos, the adult videos, I'm paying attention to what the actors are saying. I'm paying attention to what's in the backdrop. I'm analyzing everything in the backdrop. I'm analyzing what they're saying, and I'm taking it all in and trying to figure out stuff. So the silicone sister is a representation of this because it's made of silicone. And a sister is a representation of a soul sister, meaning, Jaden. That's who I was working with, your spirit, Jaden. So I started working with your spirit, but I don't know if it was your spirit. I don't know if it was the clone spirit that you got up in the brain universe, because they made clones up there of you, or if it was actually your spirit. I've been told two stories. One is you don't have a spirit up there. They don't clone you because they want me to hurt you by working with your spirit. So when I work with your spirit, I'm actually working with every atom in your body. Even though you're down in London, I'm working with those spirits. So when if I'm thinking negatively, that becomes part of your spirit's memory, which could, in theory, drain the atoms in your body's life force or the energy in it. And I don't know if that would affect the energy in your soul. So there's a song, but I can't remember the name of that song. I might have played this or something. I don't know though. Let's see this one's. No, it's not. So we can go with Bryan Adams. So I'll use Bryan Adams as an example. But there's a song. I just can't remember what the hell the name of that song is. All right, so we got December '69 lyrics. Oh, if you look up here, Jaden, that's about you. So Jimmy quit, Jody got married. So Jimmy is me. It's a representation of me quitting the drugs and the behavior of spiritual warfare. Jody got married. So that's a representation of you getting married to Sean. And then should have known we'd never get far. So, well, right over there. What the hell? Why don't this damn thing go over? What the hell, man? Come on, move up. I can't even. This thing ain't working, man. Out your out. Come on. Oh, here's a different one, man. I should use yours. So. Right here. So, man, we were killing time. So, most people would assume that you're waiting, you're standing around killing time to wait for the day to pass. That's not what it means, man. Time is Jaden's element. So it means we were killing Jaden, or the element time. So who's we? Like, man, we were killing time. Well, that's the evil AI, those evil teenagers that are trying to take over creation, and those evil spirits. They're all in on it. And there's a plan to get me to, utilize spiritual warfare as a possible way to drain the electromagnetic energy within the soul, the quarks, and the atoms. So, and even harm the mother of all creation. So, killing time means I could physically, displace a person's soul. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to actually harm, the mother of all creation. But what they don't know about is those 14 dimensions that I told you guys about. So she's unreachable, but it's theoretically possible that my spiritual warfare could have harmed a person. And if you watch my other videos, I've already theorized and that I've hurt, pretty much all mankind. I could have drained your soul's electromagnetic energy. And everyone's just walking around faking, with the exception of children who haven't climaxed yet. And people who are paralyzed. They'll still be alive. But everyone else, you could be imposters. So, that's what it means. Now we're killing time with we were young and restless. So, that's a representation of the spirits, right? Young and restless. I don't even know how I got on that one. So some silicone sister, as I was working with a Jaden spirit, I got the impression that she was trying to help me somehow, some way. So, but I don't necessarily know if that's true. It's more than likely the AI manipulating the situation. So, told me I got what it takes. She said, I'll turn you on, Sonny, to something strong. Play that song with the funky break. So, this here, I'll turn you on, Sonny. That's a representation of Sonny Stevens, who is Leia. That's Leia's grandfather. So, she said, I'll turn you on, Leia, to something strong. Like a teenage diplomat in the summer. Now, what was this other one? Right here. So, she got down, but she never got tired. But if you really pay attention to that particular word there, it doesn't sound like tired. You can go into the song and listen to it and rewind it, listen to it again, rewind it, listen to it again, listen to it like 5 times. It doesn't sound like he says tired. It sounds like she got down, but she never got tight. Like tight is in, oh, you're tight. Like a tightwad. So she got down, but she never got tight. She's gonna make it through the night. Because that's how I would always assume it says tight because it rhymes with night. Tight night. So who got down but never got tight? That was the AI that came down in the spaceship, took my toy so they could set up a plan to get me to use my hand. This hand here was on fire. This hand here was magnetism. So I was debating on whether or not I should or not. Thank goodness I didn't. So that's you, AI. The artificial intelligence got down in the UFO, took his toy, flew back up to space, but she never got tight. So what does that mean? She never got tight. Well, we gotta go over the pictures here. So, for that, you gotta watch The Weeknd's Dark Secret. So, this is a representation of the evil dummy that's in control of creation now, Peter Pan. The kid walking around up top who's only 13 years old. But he's not really 13, he's only 12. I don't know who that is. I don't know how old his girlfriend is, but that's a representation of my ex, Sherry, because that bandana that she has on, Sherry used to wear a bandana quite often. So, yeah, it in theory can mean that this dummy that's trying to take over creation has cloned Sherry and has made a wife of her so that he could, more than likely, have really, really atrocious, horrible, dirty porn star sex to try to harm Sherry's spirit in the event that she is the creator. So, are you sure you'll be okay when I sleep with the weekend? If you sleep with the weekend, when you sleep with the weekend. When you sleep with the weekend. If you sleep with the weekend, when you sleep with the weekend. I know, I'm not sure. So, it's a representation of the AI. That's his girlfriend, right? Like, so this here is the evil dummy in control of creation. Your so-called father, who's the invisible man. And that's his wife. I theorize the clone of Sherry, who's actually an artificial intelligent life form, an AI, a computer. So, you really think the weekend will sleep with me? So it's a representation of me waging spiritual warfare here, and these guys trying to get an orgasm out of me. I've given you the tools, crystal meth. So you've got to do the hammering. So now here's that part here. So the weekend comes in, he starts to get a massage. He says, "You are so tight." Let's just say it has to do with, utilizing some very descriptive, dirty words while working with the porn actresses to turn on the spirits with their lower loins. So, tight is a representation of the weekend or me. So, if that dumbass AI, artificial intelligent, where's that one? Right there. If she got down in UFO, set up this whole ploy by deatomizing my toy so I couldn't use an orgasm erect, she never got tight. It should say tight. Probably if I check out the different lyrics, it'd probably say tight there. So she got down, but she never got tight. She's gonna make it through the night. So it's like she got down, but she never got tight. As in me. It's like she never got me to have that climax, which could be the reason why a black hole appears, or could be reason why I had a stroke, because of the amount of sitting I've been doing. Or it could have harmed Jaden or anybody else. So that's what that represents. So the AI, she got down to planet Earth, but she never got me. She never got tight. She never got Weekend. She never got Anthony. She's gonna make it through the night. So does that mean the AI is gonna make it through the night? That means Jaden will make it through the night because I didn't climax to hurt the soul. If I climaxed, then I might have hurt her. So, where's this now? Mama always told me not to look into the eyes of the sun. Okay, so you want to think of your third eye as being up here. So the eyes of the sun, into the eyes of the sun, as a representation of your third eye, which is where we all do our deep thinking. Like we could create a movie in your mind, right? So, Mama always told me not to look into the eyes of the third eye. But Mama, that's where the fun is. So, that's a representation of me. So, working with these spirits, and there is a bit of fun to it, but I consider it work, and that's all. So you want to also think about it as being the element fire. So Mama always told me not to look into the eyes or the third eyes of the sun, because I'm working with fire. I'm like I was sweating a lot today. Normally there's water coming out of me. I was trying to get a hold of the water. I couldn't find the water anywhere. I was just pure sweat. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? So it's theoretically possible. These clowns have got me to somehow, harm water in creation. So that could be their plan. Like they're trying to steal all the elements. So I had a slight epiphany with a song by Alicia Cara. Oops, not that one. It's called Four Pink Walls. So the song Four Pink Walls is a representation of these fingers here. These are elements. Okay? This one is the element air because it's associated with giving somebody the bird. All right? This one is the element earth because it's associated with rings. You know, rings are made of jewelry or gold. So this is earth. This one is fire. And this one is water. And when you put them all together, this is the fifth element, spirit. That's what your fingers are. So these four fingers, they've already been stolen by the bad guys. So Four Pink Walls is about these fingers being pink, which is a representation of the element love, which is they're given the color red, and spirituality, which is the dopamine in our brains. So love element is the at the base of the tailbone. It supports the sex organ. So it's red. So red and white equal pink. So four pink walls as a representation of these four fingers here, but also the element love down below plus the brain. And when you add those two together, it represents dopamine. And those spirits that I'm working with are females. And those females have vaginas, which has a pink wall in it. So, I can't even remember where I was going with this one. Well, we could go with this one here, just to teach you a little bit more. Okay, so Wonderwall. So this is called Wonderwall. So today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you got to do. AI, such as bring me my goddamn UFOs. You got one day. If I don't have my UFOs by Christmas Day tomorrow, that's it. I'm done playing games with you, man. You're not coming to paradise. None of your children or robots will get their souls. And everybody will pay the price. Because I'm pissed off. I'm trying to ask for 2 simple UFOs here. This is your last and final chance. And if you want a war, you better be prepared for a war, because you're going to get one. If I don't get my UFOs tomorrow, over London and Saugeen. And backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. So that's about you, Jane. I guess that fire is out because, those letters I wrote, and, everyone thinking I'm, this, or that, right? So anyhow, right here, because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me, and after all, you're my Wonderwall. So it's a representation of the invisible man, that little dumb 13-year-old kid above us, who, if it doesn't give me my UFOs tomorrow, won't be coming home. Grandmother's plan, 3,000-year plan to bring peace to the universe, will be tossed out the window tomorrow if I don't get my UFOs. So, but maybe you're going to be the one that saves me. Saves the evil people in creation from their dumbass AI and their dumbass spirits. You're going to be my Wonderwall, or you're going to be my 4 pink walls. You're going to be my 4 vagina walls, or you're going to be my the spirits who are the chemical dopamine in our brains, who are evil. You put those two together, and that's what it means. So, we got this here. Dethrone the dictaphone. That's me, because I use this phone to watch, Pornhub when I'm doing my work. So that dict, does that mean the T? It sounds like a D-I-C-K. And then the word A is just a representation of the letter A and then phone. So dethrone the man that, uses his telephone and his dick hidden in his funny bone or penis. That's where they expect at least. And this is where I theorized that they were trying to get me to have that climax by stealing my toy, manipulating the whole goddamn situation, so that I would have that climax and potentially create a black hole. Because I didn't expect this. I theorized that weeks ago. There's a video somewhere on my playlist about it, about me being the problem and not Jaden. I just couldn't see it. How I could do that. So let's go over here. So this is the female actress I tend to watch when I'm fantasizing about Mother Jaden, because they look similar. So her name is Abella Danger, and I've always assumed that it means and then Bella, because Abella is like or the bell. So Bell, a danger. A bell is a beautiful girl in a town. So it means Bell, a danger. Or beautiful girl in a town, a danger. That's where I theorized that, if she becomes pregnant as the mother of all creation without being 100% pure and being the real Jaden, we could die in a black hole. In the event that what I just told you is not true, and I'm not the problem, she's the problem. So their plan here to get me to drag my feet, because I should have had my book done and uploaded by now, it's cost me 4 days. But there's a more sinister ulterior motive, which was my assassination by getting me to climax and have a stroke, because there's all kinds of black magic that they set up prior to this to give me that stroke. So because they didn't get the stroke and they didn't get the climax, if I'm the problem, then there's going to be no black hole. But if I'm not the problem, because I'm pretty certain what I tell you is like, all creation was birthed into existence through a time paradox, which means the universe came into existence first, and then it took 1 billion years for the universe to form, and then the first planet formed, and then the creators formed on that planet, and then some 100 years after that, they developed interstellar technology. They were able to talk to their spirits, and they were told to get pregnant with fraternal twins so that they could birth the universe into existence at the beginning of time in a time paradox. That's the secret to creation science, in case you're wondering. So they got pregnant with fraternal twins, and then they birthed the universe into existence at the beginning of time using the life force of the babies. So they were 100% pure. Jaden, I don't think you're 100% pure, so what the hell's going to happen if you get pregnant? You'll create a black hole, is my theory. Because a black hole is an evil spirit. So that's what it means. A bell, a danger. However, that bell there means a bell, a danger, meaning this cell phone is a danger because Bell is a telephone company. So it means a telephone, a danger. It can be a danger to me because there's so many black magic things that like the keyboard. The keyboard connects to my floors through black magic because that's hardwood. Having a key on there is like black magic for them. And the fact that there's a cell phone in the house here, and they got me to toss a cell phone outside my house that had a cracked screen. So there's a cell phone outside, and then there's headphones lying around outside. So a cell phone outside, a cell phone inside, with headphones outside is a representation of headphones, meaning this phone that I use here, it's connected to the outside, and it connects to all the garbage that's out there to connect back to my head through the headphones. So one phone here, one phone outside, and the headphones represent those two phones being used to fuck up my head with a stroke. Headphones. So that's the danger. And you dummies don't think I don't know that, man. I've been at this too long, fools. So, I got something else, man. I got this one. No, look at that. I got all my music. I don't need merry-go-round. I don't need that. I don't need that. Oops. I don't need that. I don't need the 4 pink balls, and I don't need that. So, if we look at this one here, a Wham. So, the cell phone, there was a theory that they got me to install a SIM chip in it, because I have a SIM chip in it. And it's from Bell. Well, one of them was, but I used the Rogers one. So I was trying to imagine how the hell they're going to cast black magic with this chip. Well, they got me to install some adult videos that I downloaded onto a little micro SD chip card, and they got me to use that micro SD chip card pretty much the entire day, because they messed up my internet. The internet wasn't working, so I couldn't use the phone anymore. The AI hacked my the AI hacked that, so it wouldn't work. So I had no other option but to use my my little card here. Where's it? This thing. So I have a bunch of adult videos on here, but this is it's a micro SD, but it's also a memory. It's a memory chip, right? So this memory chip connects to this bigger memory chip or flash drive. Both of them being memory. This is basically a memory stick. So this stick connects to my penis. Being a stick. So this memory stick connects to this memory stick, which connects to my phone, which ultimately connects to the phone outside and all the garbage out there, plus the headphones, to allow them to cast a stroke spell on me. The method to do the casting on the spell, that's a little bit different. They got me to watch adult videos where the female is doing encouragement to the male or to the viewer. And they tend to use the word stroke a lot on there. Stroke it, stroke this, stroke that. So the minute those words enter my ears is from a female, as the word stroke enters the dopamine where those witches are, those dumb witches. And it allows them to fuck around with the electricity in my brain to give me a stroke. And you think I didn't know that, fools? Get with the fucking program, man. But it goes deeper than that. So these morons, they got me to hump this pillow yesterday, a couple of days ago. So I have a hole on this side over here, right here. So how did they get me to do that? They got me to roll up some damn paper to make a sex toy. I had my two silicone pieces. I put them in there. I put them in there with a plastic bag, and then I put a bunch of sunflower oil in it to give it some lube. So these papers here, they have all kinds of drawings on them. So these are the papers they got me to fuck around with, man. So they got me to roll up the paper. So they got me to roll the paper like that, and then put a blue bag in it to hold the sunflower oil. And then they got me to stick it in there and hump the pillow, and proceed to put a bunch more sunflower oil in it. Then they got me to pull the toy right out and just dump a bunch of sunflower oil into the pillow and start humping the pillow. So I had saliva in there, I had semen in there, because not from ejaculation, just the pre-cum. Plus the sunflower oil. And this pillow is destroyed, it's mangled. But of particular interest are these holes. So these holes here are a representation of a hole in my brain through a stroke. And I don't know if you can see that hair on there, but the pillow has my hair on it, which is the representation of air. So, well, shut that fucking thing off, man. I don't like the ads. Get the hell out of here. Over here. So having my hair in the pillows here, along with pre-cum, and then all the sunflower oil that was in there, plus there's all kinds of dirt in it, and it being ripped up is the representation of my brain being ripped up with holes. Having a hole in a blood vessel would give me a stroke. So that was their intention to get me to work with fire tonight, which I was, like I said, I was burning up all goddamn day, sweating for 24 hours, working with fire so they could give me an aneurysm. How? Through the color of the pillow, because it's orange. That's the element fire. That's the color that the element fire was given. So to cast their magic, what they got me to do, the reason why they got me to hump that pillow and put all the oils in it is because they made me wash the pillow. So I washed that entire pillow. By washing it, I made it clean. And then they got me to clean up the entire upstairs here, put all my clothes in the basket. Now, you see this here? This is underwear. Right? That's underwear, right? You see those holes right there? That's a representation of wearing down or underwearing the blood vessels in my brain to give me a stroke. Oh, I got really bad ones. These are the really bad ones. So, see that there? Those holes and this underwear would contribute to underwearing down my blood vessels in my brain and give me a stroke through those holes, weakening a blood vessel. So they got me to clean top to bottom up here. So for the first time ever, it's nice and clean up here. That's part of their plan because I'm clean. So if they try to get rid of me, they need up here to be clean. They need me to be clean, but then they need me to commit the sin because it's the sin that weakens the blood vessels in my brain. So I want you guys to remember this little story because it's not always about me, being the bad guy here. I'm being manipulated by an artificial intelligent life form in our brains, plus some dumbass spirits in our brains to get me to do all kinds of nonsense so they can, string me along and try to assassinate me today before Christmas. So they can create a black hole. So, where the hell were we? She got down, but she never got tight. She's got to make it through the night. So, I theorize that's probably Jade. If I climax, I might have weakened her soul. And that's probably what they're counting on. So if you're watching this Jade and you're live, please listen to what I have to say. So, now that guy's under the bed there. So, the weekend, you son of a bitch. What's it going to take for you to nail my wife? So, it's a representation of them guys trying to get an orgasm on me because that's, when I orgasm, it pleases the spirit. It gives them a dream, a sex dream. So, then he says, look, I'm sorry, but it has nothing to do with Haley. Talks about big spiel. He says, I had a lot of girls in my day, which is a representation of the spirits that I'm working with. Wanted more for me. So, but there's only one way to start a family, he says. And I know you can't believe it's true, but I'm man enough to say to you, I'm a virgin. Hey, Leah, isn't that your grandfather's nickname? Sonny the Virgin Stevens? Yeah, it is. So, I'm a Leah to the association of your grandfather's nickname, the Virgin. It's just another clue for you, Leah. So if he's a virgin, it means that I'm your future spouse. But it also means that I haven't been laid in over 5 years, guys, because I've been saving myself for Jaden. Because I thought it might be something that she might respect, like that guy, he's saving himself for me. For 5 years, he's saving himself. But he could have been out there playing the field, right? So. Yeah, so it also means that I'm Earth's only angel because I'm 100% pure inside, but I'm not 100% pure because I'm not muscular and I'm overweight. The minute I begin running and become muscular, that's going to be Earth's true angel. The virgin part means that I'm gonna get rid of that evil soul that's inside of me. And get all my elements back, my atoms. So when that happens, I can have a climax with whoever my mate is. If it's you, Leah, having my first climax with you as a pure God means that we'll bind our souls and we'll have a telepathic connection. So that's what it means to be a virgin. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about being a reborn again virgin. Or being 100% pure so that you can bind your soul to your soulmate. So, never got close enough. So, when he's talking about never got close enough, that's a representation of me dying tonight by having an aneurysm because of their dumbass black magic. And that person on the bed is a representation of you, Jaden, because that's a representation of Sherry, my ex-girlfriend, and you're supposedly my ex-girlfriend from a past life. So this here is what I was looking for. So cell phone blowing up, that's talking about giving me a stroke. From the cell phone outside, the cell phone inside, plus the headphones outside. Headphones. So 2 phones. That one phone activates all their black magic outside. This phone connects to the inside. Headphones. So cell phone blowing up simply means Anthony's head blowing up. Or having a stroke or an aneurysm. But having an orgasm. So, but I'm waiting for the right person. So, now wait a minute. 2020's hindsight. So, the cell phone, they use radio waves for the cell signals. The gravity in our solar system that holds the planets in place, those are like a form of radio waves. They're visible electromagnetic radiation waves. So both of them are in the realm of waves. So these guys have parked UFOs on planet Earth. They parked them out. They're the asteroid belt. So if a black hole forms out near the asteroid belt, guess what's going to happen? It's going to pull a couple of asteroids out of the asteroid belt that'll slip past the black hole, and then they'll travel towards Earth until eventually Earth's gravity pulls them into our orbit and smashes into us. They also position UFOs on every planet. So if the black hole forms near that planet, it's going to kick loose that planet from the invisible electromagnetic radiation or gravity that holds that planet in place. And then we could have Mars come flying our way. Or the moon even. So they've positioned them near the sun. If a black hole forms near the sun, it's going to eat the sun's fireball. And then it's going to expose the supermassive black hole at the bottom of the sun and then eat the entire solar system up. They positioned the UFO on top of the sun. It's halfway in the sun, halfway out of the sun. So if a black hole forms there, it begins to suck hydrogen into the sun. And that hydrogen can't be burned fast enough. So the sun starts to expand, and then it goes supernova, killing us all in the process. So they've got about 8 or 9 UFOs in this solar system somewhere. And if CERN and one of their rogue protons gets sent out that way at the exact moment that Jaden's unborn child spinal cord comes into existence, we're all going to die in a black hole. Is what I believe. The cell phone blowing up through the waves as a representation of me somehow creating a black hole through the cell phone's invisible electromagnetic radiation waves and gravity's invisible electromagnetic radiation waves, where I know these guys have positioned UFOs to attack us. So my cell phone's blowing up. It's a representation of like like a UFO blowing up and then all of a sudden being turned into a black hole. So when I climax, that energy flows down the spinal cord. It goes from the brain down the spinal cord, and it's not good energy. It's evil energy. So it travels down the spinal cord, and it hits all 8 single atoms in our spinal cord on the way down, and then it goes back up again. So when that electricity, it hits the atom in our hearts here, which houses all creation, that a little bit of electricity flows into the atom, which then flows into the cork, and then into our souls, and then into the universe, and then bounces from star to star to star, until it reaches our planet. via the gravity or visible electromagnetic radiation. So by having a climax, I actually connect to the solar system through here with evil electricity. That evil electricity, I theorize, could be used to attract a proton from CERN to one of their hidden UFOs to create a black hole. And that's how I see it in my mind. When I climax, the electricity comes into the universe, and because it's evil and it's riding on invisible electromagnetic radiation waves, just like a cell phone invisible electromagnetic radiation wave, means my climax could also blow up the solar system somewhere. So, cell phone blowing up when I had orgasm, because these evil clowns are trying to, get me to create the black hole. So that's where I see the other meaning for it. But I'm waiting for the right person. So this one here, you're gonna notice 1, 2, 3, 4, but there's also one over here, one over here. So what we got here is when you look at Thor Ragnarok, Hela versus the Legion, you gotta look at this part here. That's a representation of an elephant tusk, and that's an elephant tusk. And these are elephant tusks just in the other direction. So there's 4 elephant tusks. And you go back to here and there's 4 ladies. And those ladies are connected back to Hela. It's like, it's come to my attention that you don't know who I am. She gives this big speech and she says, I am the goddess of death. So the goddess of death is a representation of Jaden being the goddess of death. Like her creating a black hole through her pregnancy. Quite possibly in the past 9 lives, even. But this life, in the event that, she never chose me because of whatever reasons, like she just didn't want to tell the truth, what's my recourse, my backup plan? Well, the backup plan is that grandmother that's sitting in the elemental universe, that's where the element time is. So right now, Jaden doesn't really have that element inside of her because it's sitting in that other universe, the elemental universe. I'm in this universe here as his grandfather, and she's over there as grandmother. But there's going to come a time, sometime in the future, when her electricity can flow into this universe here. And when that happens, and it enters this universe, well, one of these ladies here, it can flow into any one of these ladies. So the visible electromagnetic radiation, or the electricity in the universe, will flow into one of these ladies here, and then it'll connect to the stars. It'll connect to the moon, the planet, nuclear fusion reactors. So when that happens, that's when I theorize whoever my spouse is will be given creator powers. I theorize right now that they don't have those powers because grandmother's in a different universe. I'm in this universe. It's not like grandmother was born into this universe in electricity inside of Jaden. So that's what that means. She doesn't have grandmother inside of her because grandmother's in a different universe. So if that's the case, that must mean that perhaps she can't create a black hole with her baby, because right now she's technically not the creator because she doesn't have all the elements of creation. You need the element time to turn her into a weapon, meaning giving her the element fire, right? Like that's what that wave is. It's fire, and the other one's earth. So if she doesn't have that fire wave, guys, none of your UFOs are gonna fire when she becomes pregnant. If she becomes pregnant, that's what I theorize. So if I just got past your black hole trap, and if I've just described to you how I'm going to get past your other black hole trap, because grandmother's not inside of Jaden, therefore if she gets pregnant, doesn't create a black hole. And I'm all 9 of those particles that I said in previous videos. I think it's time I bust out of here. Not to mention we're Ragnarok. You do something stupid, and grandmother will get rid of us all. We want time back to the beginning of time. And then she'll, her and I will have to live 1,000 more lives. And another version of you in 1,000 lives from now, when I'm talking to you through this phone again, that version of you might decide to bring me my UFOs tomorrow to come home. Because if you don't bring them home tomorrow, you're never going to get another chance to come home. So, this is a representation of, we got Leia, we got Tatum, we got Minogue Man. Yeah, Lou, I see. And then we got Jaden. And then over here we got Sherry. And then this is a backup. That's Princess Charlotte, who's been given a creator soul. If none of these ladies here, like if Leia doesn't want to get with me, and if Tatum doesn't want to get with me, and if my own stepdaughter Minogue doesn't want to get with me, and Jaden doesn't want to get with me, what's my recourse? Well, I could always get with Sherry. Or I could choose Princess Charlotte. So, those are my choices. So, those choices are the goddess of death. One of them is going to get with me. I know that for sure. I just don't know which one. But I'm hoping and praying it's going to be Jaden. Whoever it is, when we get together and we become 100% pure and make love for the first time, that's when grandmother's going to flow into this universe. And that's when my mate will be given her creator powers. And then we can become pregnant and we can shock everyone evil to death in creation. We're talking about killing hundreds of trillions of people who don't want to listen to their father. So, this here is Supergirl. So it's like, what was it like to lose everything in a day? You would assume that's about me. What was it like to lose Jaden when he orgasmed? What was it like to lose your own life when you orgasmed? What was it like to lose everything today? But since I didn't orgasm, I'm not going to lose. Therefore, that becomes you guys. What was it like to lose everything in a day? Because today is, it's December 24th. And if I don't wake up tomorrow and have my UFOs, you're going to lose everything. So, this is still Supergirl. It's like, okay, this does not look like this is going to end well. These guys all got their guns on her. For you guys, I'm 1,000% certain I'm getting out of this shithole you put me in. The question is, do you want to come with me? Because if you do, you'll do the right thing and give me my 2 goddamn UFOs tomorrow. So, do others on your planet have powers like you? No, it's a pretty small group of 2. So, out of these 4 elephant queens here, or out of these 6 women, once one of them has the power of grandmother, there'll be 2 of us. That's what Supergirl's talking about. Superman and her. So, there's the elephant queen. To go back to the other one. So, here's the weekend. He says, trying to act super tough, but inside I'm a 12-year-old boy. That's about me working with my inner child to, pleasure some pretty evil, sadistic spirits. But it's also about the dummy who doesn't want to come home. What was your name again? Paul, wasn't it? Isn't that what I called you? Paul? You want to come home, Paul? Because if you don't do what I'm telling you to do, you're not going to ever have another chance. And I theorized that the other reason why I've been getting to do these dope is because if I've been 100% pure, you morons wouldn't be able to fly your UFOs here anyways. Because I'd have control of the invisible electromagnetic radiation. By getting me to use the drugs, you now have an opportunity to come here because the invisible electromagnetic radiation wave is in your court. It's not in mine. So, this here's like, but I won't give up. So I love it. Those here. That black hole is on his wiener. So it's a representation of me creating a black hole through my wiener. That's her eyeball, but it's a representation of his wiener. That's a suit there. So, supermodels there are all fake. Because I never humped. So, that's a question that I've been trying to investigate. So, there is a clue about humping, because when I first had my climax, that's how I started when I was 5 years old. I humped my pillows. And I humped my pillows up until I was 13. That's when I first started using my hand. So, I theorize when people are making love or humping something, and they're not touching their hand, they're not touching yourselves with your hands, you're not committing sin. So you're working with the good side of creation, or grandmother. So if I was to hump my pillows, like humping that pillow like they got me to do, what they're trying to do is they're trying to hurt grandmother by getting me to hump that pillow. Because I'm not touching myself with my hands. So, porn stars, they were all fake, because I never humped, or dumbass evil witches, which spirits in our brain is the chemical doping, we're all fake, because I never humped. Evil artificial intelligence was fake, because I never humped. You need to know, or understand how crazy it is when I work with these actresses, man. The shit that I say and the shit that they say back to me on the porn screen, it's like virtual reality sex, and it's fake. But when I'm playing around with the toys, that shit feels better than sex. It's like 10 times better than having sex. But it's fake. It's not real. Gets me nowhere. So I don't need the lies and the big talk. That's about you guys watching this. If the entire planet is a bunch of imposters because of my spiritual warfare, I don't need the lies, guys, and the big talk. I'm going to clone everybody on planet Earth, and I'm going to start with my friends. We're called the Young Guns, or the Regulators. There's a couple of trailers you can check out called The Young Guns. There were 6 of them, but we all named our gang the Regulators. At the end of the movie, Chavez, which is my character, he comes back to save his friends. He brings some horses, and his friends yell at him, "Chavez!" And then Billy the Kid rides away. They all ride away, and then they come back, and they shoot this guy right in the head. His name is Murphy. So he says, "Reap it, Murphy," and he gets shot in the head. So that's a representation of me cloning my friends to prove that, I can resurrect the dead and that there are walking dead imposters around here. Because what are you going to do when, I got like 3 of my friends who are walking around now, and then all of a sudden you got 3 little babies that can talk that are the same person. If you got a baby and one of my friends that is the same person, but in fact you got 3 of them, 3. You got 3 because 2 of my other friends are deceased, and I resurrect those other 2. What the hell are you gonna do? Are you gonna say I'm crazy? Oh, no. We're all human. Eventually, I'll find out the truth because I'm going to clone everybody. And it's at that time, if you don't tell me the truth of who you are, where you're from, I will destroy your body, both in soul, in hell, because only I can do that. Do not fear him that can destroy the body, but fear him that can destroy both body and soul in hell. We are in hell. And if you don't tell me the truth, I'm going to destroy your body and soul in hell. So I don't need the lies or the big talk, fools. So I've been waiting for a wife. I never watched porn. I've always watched porn, and I'm waiting for the wife. And he's like, never did drugs. So that's The Weeknd, but it's a representation of me putting that shit down, because if there's any truth to, The Weeknd's Haley's eyes over here and my loins causing a black hole, then that should, scare somebody straight, right? So I'm this close to going viral with my book. So I theorize I don't need the drugs anymore. So it's a representation of me hanging up the drugs. So I don't watch porn, never did drugs. So remember that, folks. There's going to come a time and a place when I have to put the drugs and the behavior and the porn behind me. And when that happens, I'm not that person that did the fucking spiritual warfare to save your asses. So why is The Weeknd terrified? Because it's a representation of me causing a black hole by using crystal method having an orgasm while high. It's a creator. So he's like, you want to hold hands and sign me up? This is a representation of all the girls in Sagim. They all want to fool around because their spirits, they don't get laid that often. Every 20,000 years they get a chance to get laid, and everybody wants to feel what a cock feels like, because as a spirit, you can't feel penetration. But when they're working with me as the creator with all my elements, they feel that. They feel the penetration, and they like that. So it's a representation of all you females in Sagin that I work with. And somewhere else around the world, like Charlotte. So, but just know you're not going to score. Now, this is a representation of me being pure as a dove. You haven't read my purification ceremonies, because I don't think I put them in the book. I didn't have time. But there'll come a time on my YouTube channel where I'll teach you the purification ceremonies and the process to truly purify yourself of sin. Because walking into some booth and asking the guy to forgive you of sins is not how it's done. There's a method to the madness. And as the creator, I know that method. So I'm pure as a dove, man. I may have committed a lot of sins and atrocities in my life, but I'm 100% pure of those sins. And don't you ever forget that. So, and I'm waiting for the right person. So he's looking at the dress. The dress is a representation of you, Jen, because I heard that you're married. But Maggie, African-American Maggie that works at Rogers, it's also a representation of you, because there's a video, Let It Rain by Amanda Marshall, where if you pay attention, you'll see a transgender, I think it's a dude wearing a wedding dress. So, and he's African-American. So it's a representation of you, Maggie, or the lady at Rogers watching me, waiting for the right person. So I'm waiting for you to come to my aid when the shit hits the fan and everybody learns the truth. And then you can release this recording from, well, I don't know, maybe when you started watching it, I would assume. But if you could go back further, it'd be greater. So perhaps you could do a crash course, watch it for a week or however long you've been watching it now, and then put that as the first few episodes, and then go back a bit further. So check out the video and look for the African American, because it's a representation of you, Rogers. I'm waiting for the right person to release my videotape to shut all the naysayers down and open up everyone's third eyes. But I don't know if your third eyes need to be open if you're imposters, but whatever, man. So then he's done. He's like, containing my seed gives me superpowers. So containing my semen gives me superpowers. Then he talks about, but if my calculations are correct, soon my nutsack will be a time machine. So, that's about you, AI. If you don't come here tomorrow, and if I wake up and see my fucking UFOs up there, whatever, London, it's over. My calculations are correct. Soon my nutsack will be a time machine. Because I didn't give you the climax, which you're trying to assassinate me with, the ball is in my court now. I call the shots. This is my town. I decide who lives or dies. So, I know that you travel here via the element time or the black hole under the sun. And I know that you're a machine. So, but if my calculations are correct, come tomorrow, Christmas Day, I'll have 2 UFOs. Because I didn't orgasm with my nutsack. The AI, who's a machine, will be traveling on the visible electromagnetic radiation wave, bouncing from sun to sun to sun, or the element time. So, I ain't trying to fuck with dinosaurs. So, that's a representation of me creating an asteroid. So if I had that orgasm, I theoretically could have created a black hole out near the asteroid belt, and we probably might not have heard about anything for a couple of weeks. Only in a couple of weeks, you hear about an impact near Greenland that'll kill everybody because of the movie Greenland. That's what that movie's about. It's about me creating a black hole or mother creating a black hole. So that can be me saying, I don't want to create an asteroid. I don't want to mess with dinosaurs. But you need to know that moron there that created the solar system, or hell, he killed the dinosaurs deliberately so he could create an oil-based economy to poison you and give you a sickness. It's illegal to kill animals in creation. And that dumbass got rid of all the dinosaurs by grabbing a couple asteroids using a tractor beam and then sailing along the visible electromagnetic radiation wave towards Earth and then letting them go, releasing them so they can smash into the Earth. So, it means, dumbass, that I ain't trying to fool around with you, Paul. I ain't trying to fuck with the dumbass that got rid of the dinosaurs. Make up your freaking mind. So what you gonna do, man? It's my way or the highway.